Welcome, Spark. So what kind of Spark are you? Player? Creator? Or both? The stories yet to be told. The games to be made. Civilizations and societies to be formed. The universe is waiting for you to bring it to life. Now, how do we begin?
And we're live.
All right. Hey, community, how's it going?
Hey, guys.
Welcome to another Tuesday education stream.
Yeah, exactly. So, Thomas, what are we going to be talking about this Tuesday? Today. Today's Tuesday.
This Tuesday.
This day.
Yeah. So we are going to be looking at kind of a continuation of my Speechcraft system that we did about a little over a month ago. And what we're going to do today is kind of incorporate a class choice and skills, and so when you like level up or however you do that, you'd be able to kind of allocate different points, and we'll use like the Speechcraft system as the example of like that in action and how it could, different investments could pay off in different ways. So
like cool. Give an example of like what kind of skill tree you're going for. Something like the skill tree in like the Elder Scrolls games?
Yeah, probably something like that. So cool. I'm actually going to demonstrate here what we're going to hopefully end up with at the end of this. It's quite a bit.
Awesome.
So let me make sure global stream off. Yeah. So see, I have when I want to switch over, I just do that.
Yeah. While you're doing that, few little housekeeping items. So Conquer came out Thursday. And we're seeing lots of great new people playing it. It's awesome.
Yep.
The people who are hitting, there are some people who are hitting bugs we saw. So we're actually going to be pushing out an update this Thursday to address the bugs people are finding with Conquer's Big Reunion. So it'll be very shortly that you'll be able to get through all the stuff perfectly again. So that'll be dropping Thursday. What else do we have going on? The Community Game Jam, I think they're judging.
They're close to wrapping up.
Yeah. So look out for that. And soon enough, we'll be talking about what's next in Project Spark. We have some more tricks up our sleeve. But anyways.
Up our very long sleeves.
Yeah.
You actually have sleeves today.
Yeah, I know, but they're rolled up. So, anyways, but let's educate people.
All right, yeah, I'll try to anyway. So I just have it where at the very beginning, as the game launches, it has a choose your class. So I can do a diplomat, a mage, a warrior. So we'll kind of go through this really very fast menu and how to build that. And then from here, so I'll run through two different versions. So let's say if I pick the diplomat, which that's the skill we're going to go with here. So if I pick that, you should see in the top right corner, I'm a diplomat and I'm level 1. So if you remember from my last tutorial on Speechcraft, we had this little merchant girl. We're going to be over there. This is just my practice area. And I could jump in on the second prompt here and do my very fancy Speechcraft wheel. And we could play this game. You'll notice that I have it says available 1 for rotate, and so if I rotate the wheel around, I can do that, and then... But now I added, so there's a number to that. There wasn't before, it's just 1 rotate, so...
Oh man, your disposition is 35. She's
I know,
really disliking you.
She's not liking me right now. So we're going to get out of here. And... So what I've added is this second character. So I adjusted the Speechcraft system, and I'll kind of go over what I did a little off-camera work to work with 2 people now instead of 1. So now I can go in and talk to this guy, and he's just a trainer. So he'll recognize if I'm a diplomat or not. If I am, I can train, and he'll dance and say, let's do this. And he could start a quest or something. It could be more than that. So I just have it where it'll prompt me to start allocating different points. So I can go in here and do charisma. And that's all I have for points to spend right now. And you can see I grew a level too. In that case, if I come back over here now, I actually have it with my level. Not with the points yet, but with my level, it's actually set. Oh, look at that. I remembered where I was at. Boop. So I have it with my new level. So and the wheel starts, I actually have 2 rotates now because I'm level 2. And so my skill increased, and I actually get a bonus in whether that's game, I could do it toward combat, or something like that. So
Cool.
that is what we're going to be looking at today.
Cool. And so what happens when you pick not a diplomat?
Oh, that's right. So let me show you. So that's, yeah, so that is if you are the diplomat case. Let me go in here and hit restart. And so we'll go as a mage. So I pop up, I got a wand, I can shoot. Yeah. So on here now.
Way to hurt them.
I know. She doesn't like me very much. So if I go talk to this trainer now, jump in here, he's not going to train me.
Right, because
He won't
that is a diplomatic trainer.
he's my...
He's not a mage trainer.
Yeah. He's kind of like a thief diplomat. You know, like the crafty people, you know, like that kind of skill base
Right.
where they're good with words and manipulating
Usually
people.
it was the military type race that was good at speech
There's
craft.
Imperial.
Imperial, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
which
Imperials.
isn't really like
He's not really
military.
Imperial looking.
Yeah, I've always thought like Red Guards are like super. They're like the military class, right? They're like the good warriors. And then you'll notice for her too, her prompt that one disappears from her register.
Yeah, so you can't persuade her because
Yep.
you're not a diplomat.
Exactly.
Cool.
So let's jump into edit here. So let me first just go over the quick how I got to this setup. So this is before I've added any of the fancy class stuff. So in here, you'll notice that if I jump into this character brain, so if you remember from my first tutorial on this series, that let's go here. So the speech, the conversation page was the second. So we jumped over here when you like start a conversation. And I actually had like all the logic in there. So all the prompts and all the answers that went back and forth between you and the merchant was in that brain. It was in the character brain. And as soon as I wanted to incorporate another character, that would not work for me. So I kept something very similar to what I was doing before, except I've switched out now. So where my target is going to be holding the prompt variables and registering how many prompts are there. So you'll see, so my selection here, it's actually out of my total target prompt, so I can have 3 or 4 or 5 different things I could say to that character. And my menu will work accordingly to that. If my selection, if I choose it or not, it'll highlight correctly and all that. So I'm holding all the logic here, but the actual prompt's going to happen otherwise. So I did not change the speechcraft system yet, which actually wouldn't have to be adjusted as much. So this is where a lot of, it's very apparent the differences here. So I had almost nothing in this character's brain, but now I've added a whole other page. So when they enter a conversation together, it'll jump over and it's going to set a number of prompts that are available. And that's what the character, what the player is going to be reading from that. The different prompts that are available. So she has the hello line. She says, you know, how about them Seahawks? And with the persuade option and prompt 3. So also in here, because those prompts can change, I'm also including the basically the what happens. You know, so for her, she's going to emo. The response that's based off of that. The display is still actually happening in the player brain. And you'll see the transition to the speechcraft page also is going to happen here because each prompt 2 on this character is the speechcraft change, but that wouldn't necessarily, you know, if my trainer had a prompt 2, it would not necessarily be that. So I need the logic to be on each individual character. And then for this guy, he's just very basic. Right now, he just enters a conversation and basically gets right back out of it. So if I come up here, so that's what I did off work. I also fixed this guy up just a tad. Let me make sure real quick that the one brain I am turning off. I am. Okay, great. So now I should jump over here into our actual area where we're going to build up and work on this. So here we go. Everything looks the same from where we left it last time. I've just added this new character who has no prompts. Alright, cool. So the very first thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to, like how we start a lot of things in Project Spark, we're going to go grab a logic cube. And first thing I'm going to do is put a name on it so I know what I'm working on here. I'm going to try to be gentle with typing. Very, very daintily. I can't do this.
Yeah, there's no way. Our keyboard will always be clacking.
It's
really
just
loud.
clack, 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 clack.
Yeah.
Stream, and we're going to do class logic, sure.
So sometimes some people ask why we always use logic cubes for storing stuff. I've heard that asked before. It's because like technically you could put all the logic in like a stone or something else.
Yeah.
The main reasons are because it's just easy. Like you just know that a logic cube has a picture of a brain on it. It's got a brain in it. The second thing is default logic cubes are set in their properties so that they don't follow the disable perimeter. And disable perimeter, for those of you who don't know, you can set basically in your world properties a disable perimeter. You can turn it on, and then anything within a certain after a certain amount of range from you, say like 80 meters or so, its brains don't run. And by default, logic cubes don't follow disable perimeter. It's something you can turn on and off in properties, but so they're just not used in case people are using disable perimeter. It's just easy because they don't have to worry about toggling logic cubes.
I did not know that. Very interesting. Okay, so we're going to just get that quick little display here. And we're going to just jump. We can steal this right here.
And as Mescat said, logic cubes are also indivisible, non-collidable by default, so that's helpful as well.
Yep. Don't need to be running into your logic as you're running around your world.
But they're not templates, so if you put like when Y press shoot fireball, your logic cube's also going to shoot fireballs.
And we can keep that. Okay. So what I'm working on here now, so I jumped into that class class logic cube that I started. So I'm building that very first option of picking your light class to start. So that was the prompt that was, if you want to be a diplomat, do you want to be a warrior, do you want to be a mage? So I've started to here, and what I need to do when I'm doing that at the beginning is we're going to actually make sure the brain of the character is deactivated. So I'm going to say deactivate. And I'm actually in this game, I have a global variable set for my player, and that's just global player. So I'm going to reference the character just like that. And we're going to just display this tile right here. And just to make sure that this works, we'll test it real quick. And we'll have when a pressed. We're going to say, we're going to reactivate the global player brain. So just a very simple, quick way. Let me make sure we got this on. We do. Okay, test. There you go. So you have that screen. And I don't destroy that logic cube or tell it to stop.
Right.
So, but worked out great. We'll have to make sure that this also turns off. Perfect. So now that'll stop the display from happening when I activate my character again. So now we're going to actually borrow some of the logic that we used before again for the menu selection. It's very simple where we had the selector with the number, not that brain. We actually are going to go into this one. So if you remember from before, we had the selection and it's clamped, right? And so we're changing between these number variables, and that's what's telling it, basically making our choices in the menu. So I'm going to steal that. I'm going to put that in here. I know that this is always going to be 3 different classes. Of course, I could make that into a totally variable one, or, you know, like Elder Scrolls, I think they even do like create your own class.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
You know, you could do something like that and name it, and you'd be able to do that for sure. But right now we're going to stick to keeping it pretty easy, so we're going to keep it between 1 and 3. Also, I keep going to that one. So I'm going to go over here and steal a bunch of this logic right here. So this is all my selection for moving between the menu. Okay. And gonna make sure we change that one out.
Oh, right. Another thing I forgot to get to, just because someone brought it up in chat, talking about the first 5 to 10 minutes of Conker's Bad Fur Day. That we should release on Thursday. I know we said that we would have that done by the 23rd, but it turns out there's a lot of steps that have to happen when you transfer something from our internal builds to external builds. We basically have to rebuild it. So we are finishing up rebuilding the homage to Conker's Bad Fur Day, and we'll have that released by Thursday. So like when the update to Conker's Big Reunion drops on Thursday, and it's an update, by the way, you won't actually have to download it. That's kind of the power of the cloud. You won't have to download that update because it's just an update happening on our cloud system. So it's just an automatic update that'll happen. And along with that, when we update that, we should be dropping the homage to Conker's Bad Fur Day at the same time, so anyone can continue to add on to it.
I'm excited for that to go out.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, we've been,
wanting
we definitely
get that out there.
We put some more polishing on that so that it uses like that Conker there, uses all of the default Conker mechanics. So, like expanding beyond that, it'll be really easy to do.
Oh, oops. I forgot to change the location on those. They're displaying in the bottom corner. So we're going to switch that because we want that to be in our nice little box here. And let's see. At screen position. Vector, nope.
Question on fixing syncing issues in multiplayer. If you become desynced with someone.
Yeah, we've dealt with this so much.
Yeah, Thomas and I mean, we built Conker's Multiplayer Arena, the two of us. So we definitely ran into some desyncing. So in multiplayer sessions, when you're in test, it just happens more so when you're testing something out with people. If you have lots of lag, there's a chance that things become desynced. What that means is if there's lots of lag, someone might have slightly different lag than someone else, and therefore they're basically playing a different game than the other person because, you know, multiplayer is all based on inputs of people. So if someone on one end is pressing an input, but their character is in a different place, like that's a 1 second difference from them, then it's a totally different game. So that's what desyncing basically is. So this can happen if you have if you're in a multiplayer session and you have a lot of lag between your players. So what we'd recommend is just work on honing down the amount of lag you have in your game. The less lag you have, the...
cut down those visual effects.
Yeah, cut down the effects. Usually the visual effects are one of the main culprits, or a lot of brains running, or a lot of logic in like the shooting mechanics. If you have a lot of shooting happening per frame, then that can also make things messy.
Exactly. So just putting the last touches on here. So one thing that you guys probably know by now is where you can adjust the vector that you're affecting in a display by using like world up, world down, east or west, and you can change. Right. And you can. It's really nice because you can do it in one line. So I'm just saying 0 on here, and for instance, this one's going to be a little bit higher on the screen. So I can jump here and do world up, and that like by default would be 1, right? So I want for a 2D plane, 1 takes you to the edge of the screen, and we don't want to do that. So we're going to do that with a ratio here, and I've been using 0.25, and I just have one more to put on here.
So hitting on another question about sharing brains, sharing assemblies. So best way to do that right now, you know, we may in the future put in the ability to share brains and such. Ooh, look at that. You can make selections.
Yay!
We may add that feature in the future, but for now, best bet is just to put a bunch of them in a world. I mean, you have the ability to share a world and then put more than one brain in there if you want to. So instead of just one brain, you can put a bunch of brains in there. And yeah.
I want to show real quick for people who don't know this. So how to get bold text. So in my example, we had that getting used, and the way the proper syntax actually is another basically entry of text, and it's going to look exactly like this. So you're going to have open bracket, style, colon, space, bold, semicolon, which closes it, and then you have a close bracket. Those are brackets, right?
Yes.
The arrows.
Yep.
So that would be the proper syntax, and you would just throw that in front of anything that you want to get bolded. And you can also do a text variable like inside that. So if you want to switch between bold and italic, I believe those are the only two styles we have. But you would be able, or normal.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And size you can actually do through that way too. So now those are bolded.
Sweet.
Yep. Kind of looks cleaner, I think, the bold. It depends on what you're doing. Menus and stuff when you have when you're, and it's important, right? Okay. Now the way that I'm actually making a selection in here is when I'm on a highlighted one, it's by that number. And so what I need to do now, so this is the actual class choice. So we're going to go up here. I want to steal this. So when selection is made, I'm going to jump here. And so selection made equals 1. So when selection is 1, so that is our diplomat, we're actually going to go in and add that. We're going to make a Boolean for the class, actually. This is the way that I found best worked in this scenario. So we're going to do diplomat, and we're going to go into, and we're going to add this to the player, actually. We're going to make this true for the player. So global player equal, our diplomat equals true. And we're going to do that for each class. And we're going to use, so the second one was a mage. And third is warrior. Let's find that. There we go. Helps when I don't have to type each one.
Yeah.
Okay. So after I make that, we're going to actually not do that now. And we're going to put these guys.
So Faultless, I'll talk more with you. I'll try and talk with you offline. I'll send you a private message through our forums because, yeah, it seems like if you're not really you don't have many characters, many effects in your world, you shouldn't be hitting the lag syncing problem. So we'll talk more, and I'll figure out what could be going on. Could be some bug, and if so, we'll log that and make sure we get to it.
Yep. So now in here, what we're going to do is actually the logic for when I am these certain things. So we're going to keep it very simple. So when I'm a diplomat, when I am a mage, and when I am a warrior. Okay, so we're going to do a couple things here. So first we'll do the mage and the warrior. So what I was using just to highlight that is, so when you're the mage, we're going to actually do once, we're going to equip you. Nope. There we go. Fell out of the brain there for a second. We're going to go to the gallery. And we're going to do the wand. Steph's wand. Okay. And when you're the warrior, we're going to do the same thing, except we're going to do a sword.
Way to make it not remixable. I'm just kidding.
Oh, with Steph's? I think that's... Oh, it's pretty close.
I'm just kidding.
Who doesn't have Steph by now? He's even, like, cheaper.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sale, right. He's 300 tokens right now. For those of you who don't know, we have a sale going on for Champions, which we, that is one of those things we should probably talk about at the top of the show.
Yeah, we haven't talked about that, actually.
Yeah.
and display. So what I had too is the display of the text, and we're going to keep this really basic. So this is like letting me know, right, which class I am, and we'll just put it in the top corner. I have a lot of text already in this world. Crazy. And we're going to just put this top right. And last but not least, we're going to make that large so we all can read it. And why not? We'll make it bold too for fun. There you go. And I'm going to do the same thing for the mage, except I'm going to change that to mage. And we're going to do the same thing for the diplomat. Okay, cool. Also,
So you don't need to make those variables. So you have booleans, right? That say when. Are those going to be global booleans? So like global warrior, global mage, global diplomat?
nope. It's because I'm doing it. I'm referencing the global player from the other brain, so it's just him. Yeah. So it's from him. He's going to be the only person who ends up being a diplomat, mage, or a warrior. So I don't feel like it has to get shared. I usually keep my I started off, you see, like this probably shouldn't be a global variable either. But I try to actually minimize now on how many global variables I use, because it gets messy if you, because it's kind of a shortcut at first, right? Like, I don't want to be smart about how I'm referencing things, but like, if it shouldn't be a global variable unless you have so many things calling it that it just is necessary. But like your main character and all that kind of stuff, like, I mean, it's tied to the player. And you can reference it really easy just like that. So now, testing. If I go to mage, I am a mage, and I have my wand. Very cool. And back over here. We're also going to just steal that real quick. Delete that guy. We'll throw the different attack setups here. So if you're a mage, you're not going to do that. You're going to shoot instead. And you're going to attack if you're a warrior. Okay. So those are those default classes that we're not doing too many interesting things with, but they're all set up for now. So diplomat, that's the guy who's going to sit here and, for the most part, stay here, because we're going to use other things to affect the diplomat. We're not going to equip him with a weapon. Now, if we wanted to like give him a book to hold in his hand, or give him a crown on his head, or something like that, that showed his class, or put on different clothes or attachments. You could easily do that by doing this class. That was kind of what I was trying to illustrate here by showing the weapon and the different attacks. So now that we have that set up, the next thing that we're going to do is actually go in and how that affects how these people interact with you. So we're going to go first to what we had set up before. So jumping in here. So this is the actual really interesting part, right? So when you first enter this, she's going to give you these three prompts and everything like that. Now we want to take one of these prompts away. So the way that we're going to do that is pretty easy. We're going to actually see if the global player is in fact a diplomat. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to call that Boolean that we have now established as the class. So when that is happening, we're going to actually, for my sanity, we're going to do this. There we go. Okay. And then we're going to do else. Okay. So now what I just did and have set up here is when I enter this page, the prompts that are going to happen are going to be dependent on this, if in fact we are a diplomat or not. So, and I could do this with any of the classes that I have. So global player diplomat is true. We're going to change some of these guys. Else we're going to default back to the things that we were doing before. Actually, reverse that, because when we're going to keep 3 prompts when I'm a diplomat. That's what I meant to say. So when I'm not, we're going to actually go here and we're going to take out and do 2. We're going to have prompt 2 actually mean goodbye now, and this one is going to get deleted.
Mm.
Now this is a little bit trickier, and there may be a better way to like a cleaner way to do this, but this worked the best as I just was playing around with the setup that we currently have. And you'll kind of know that, right? As you're like iterating on projects, you'll realize like the stuff that I worked on before, in order to expand on that, I have to do something different. So like when I had the Speechcraft, it worked great when I only had one character in the world, and I had to like go back and fix it. So always know that you'll have to do that for your code probably as you like carry it through a project. So that's actually a lot of times as you build up features and things like that, it kind of gets exponential in growth because you're carrying all this baggage through your project. And every time you add something, it's going back and making sure it works with everything else. So, you know, keeping your stuff very nice and clean and, you know, basically organized is going to just help you get further in that arc than you would have been able to before. But that's always like a consideration, right? When you're thinking about like the thousands of different features and things like that you want to put in your game. So on here, so prompt 2, right? This is what's switching me over to Speechcraft, and we still want that to happen if, in fact, my character is going to be a diplomat. But we're going to do something different if it's not true. And it's actually really easy to do that. So we're going to go on here and do the exact same thing that we did above. Global player and diplomat. So in global player diplomat, we're going to do these things. Now this is the interesting part. We're actually going to just, in fact, switch what the selection is. So we're going to do global player, delete, global player, selection made. We're going to actually just bump it over to 3. And then I'll actually, so we're basically replacing 2 with 3 if you're not a diplomat. So it'll bump it forward. All right, let's test that. Let's see if that works. So first, why don't we take out a look at the diplomat and see if that works. So diplomat, I still get my prompt. I can still do all my fun Speechcraft, and I can get out of here. Let's restart, and let's pick something else. We're going to be a mage. And now we only have the 2 prompts. And if I click the second one, it'll still recognize that we should be done with the conversation because I bounced it back to 3. So perfect. So working as intended. That never happens the first time on stream, ever. Usually everything just falls apart. And that's why you have to have a practice area where it has all the logic in case things go haywire. So there you go. So at that point, now we can talk about leveling up and getting a little bit more complicated with it. So what we're going to do is once we're going to make sure that we're going to have a character level here. And this is another thing that I thought, oh, I probably should make it a global variable. And then I decided I actually don't have to. It's better actually just to reference everything else under like the global player variable, because I'm going to have this one player in this world, or however you want to do it. But so we're going to start off at level 1, and let's just display that too, so we can keep an eye on that through the rest of the game. And we'll do that, sure, right here. Looks like a great place. Display, and the number variable I just did was level, and we're going to go up here, screen position top right, and I already have text for this. Level. Okay, cool. So and there's actually a space there too. You want to remember when you're doing text, like there won't be a space unless you add it.
Right.
So it's level colon space, and then it'll start immediately with that. I mean, you can do it other ways, like if you want to, maybe it's cleaner for the type of game that you're working on to actually not have the space in there, and then you actually do like a text of just space, which I've done that too. So it kind of just depends. So now we're going to display that though up in the top corner here, the same way that I was doing it before, and we'll bold it so all of you guys can read it.
So, quick question that's coming from chat: why do you sometimes have lines that just are ignore this on the Wednesday?
It's my own thing. It's entirely my own thing. It's like basically I consider them like paragraph breaks. That's how I read it. So I have like my chunk, and then I have like my other chunk. So like on this brain, it like separates all the other garbage that's just like third person adventure.
Ah, okay.
It's just a way that I can quickly get to where I want to go, like in my brains. So yeah, I use them like page breaks. And okay, so the level is now displayed, which is super cool. And what we can do now is we're actually going to add a conversation to this guy. He's our trainer, right? So he's going to be our method of leveling up. Now, whatever game you're making, you can make it a quest fulfillment. So maybe this guy tells me to go grab an apple from a tree. I could bring him the apple and then I level up. Or I could go to kill 10 goblins and have an XP meter, and that's how I'm leveling up that way. It all just depends. Or maybe how I level up is dependent on my class. You can pretty much make it however dependent on just that beginning prompt, right? So on here, so on my trainer, we're gonna go in, and the way it works is we do have him switch the page, right? And he has nothing going on. So we're gonna go over to our friendly neighborhood merchant, and we are actually going to steal this page. We should add, this is feedback from me. We should do there should be a visual feedback when you copy a page. Like, you have no idea if you did it or not. Unless it errors out, in which case you get a nice error prompt.
Yeah, you do get that currently.
Yep, you do get that. And yeah, we'll just do paste page here. And I want to make sure it kept the bottom part. It did. Alright, cool. So this is all the stuff that was in that merchant. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to do this a little bit differently. We aren't going to do the diplomat to start, because we actually are going to have him have the same prompt for everybody, but he'll respond differently to how you do the prompt. So I can get that over, that over, that over. That over, that over, and that over. Break that. Oh. Okay. And I am going to keep, let me see. That was the leftover. I actually pasted underneath. I did. I don't want that one. Okay. So on here, I'm only going to have him have one prompt. And that prompt's going to be, we'll just go, let's train. Let's train. And we don't need that. Okay, and here we can take out a ton of stuff. So we'll just go, let's see. Delete, delete. Okay. And what we're gonna do is switch this over. So in the response is when he's gonna look at and see if you're a diplomat. So when you are diplomat, we're gonna do some things. We'll have him dance like that right now, and we'll have this say, actually, I don't think we have him, I'm gonna have him say anything. We actually don't need a text response, right? It could just be an email response.
Yeah, that's true.
It all just depends on what you're going for. So, gotta make sure that's set to nothing so we don't say anything. Else. Delete. Okay. So when that is made, now you only can have one selection, right? So you're not going to even be able to toggle between anything else. And so you're going to have this conversation with him, whether you like it to or not at this point. And depending on, it'll be good or bad. So if you're Diplomat, you're going to have a good reaction. He's going to dance. Otherwise, we're going to have him emote mad. And let's make sure. So that should close the conversation. Okay, so let's just test that. Let's see if that works. So we'll do Diplomat. Okay, so the conversation's working, and let's train. He starts dancing. Cool. And then it should end without me having to do it. Okay, perfect. And we'll do one more iteration. We'll see the other side of things. And he's not. Ooh, I still have a response on there. There, see? And we will have him actually say something different. We will have him say, go away. Go away. Okay. Perfect. So now what we're going to do is when you do this, we're going to actually have him be the person who levels you up, right? So we're going to take your character level that we established before. Player. And let's go to number variables, what I'm looking for. Value, number variable, level, increment by 1. And I actually did this at first, but when I was testing it, I realized why this wasn't, the way I was calling this didn't work out as good as it could have been. So I'm going to actually do, because I don't want you to level up in the middle of the conversation. And so I'm going to actually do a different Boolean that's going to get set. So I'm going to just do level up equals true.
Okay. And for everyone joining live, this is going to be up on YouTube within the next 24 hours. So it's something that you can pour over again and again. For everyone
All
watching
that,
on YouTube,
yeah, all those details.
Yeah, for everyone watching on YouTube, you can skip back to the beginning, to the end, wherever.
Yeah, and let me know if you're following along. I can definitely take questions or anything like, anything like that. So just let me know. So what I'm going to do is actually go into my character's brain on the first page. So this is like his standard page. And what we'll do is level up. So when that becomes true, we're actually going to do the leveling. And this was just cleaner, mainly because like I have a lot of stuff happening when you're in a conversation. And so I want to be able to control and actually have it kind of come out of that environment. I don't want to like have you level up halfway when the guy's talking to you, or at that instant. So level up, and what we'll do is do a countdown. So it'll be like 2 seconds after your conversation's over is over with this guy. So level up, and then we'll do. Do
you want to do?
I'm gonna do a started to,
okay,
and then break. Yeah,
that will make the level shoot up every frame.
It's just
for 1 second.
It's just an ultimate cheat. Yeah. There you go. Ooh. Okay. Level up. Start 2. It's gonna go up 1, and we will also close it. Perfect. Okay, and let me check him real quick. So with Diplomat there, he's going to emote. We're going to level up. Otherwise, we're not going to. Okay, so Diplomat. Let's train. As he's yawning. Or stretching.
He's bored.
Yep,
bored
so
of your
there
training.
you go. And... Bing! I don't think I referenced it. Global. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, it's actually in here. See? See, when I'm in my character brain, I do not need to reference it as a global player.
Does the crane function? Not sure if you're talking about a crane in this. We haven't added a crane in this.
Is the crane? Oh,
I don't know.
I don't know. Oh, don't be silly. Okay, there we go. Not that one. There. Right? Yeah. Level up. No, that should work. Let me make sure I'm calling this guy right. That is what I'm not doing.
I gotta put in those.
They get me every time.
So you're doing when global object variable called player has this boolean that's called level up equals true. Then.
Yep. So it'll level up now after should be 2 seconds, and there you go. So
Bam.
I bammed. And so now that we have like a level change, right? We're gonna go in and actually affect something of like our skill, and that was pretty easy. It's pretty easy to implement here on my speech graph. So, boop. So now we're in. So this is if you didn't see the other stream, this is gonna be. Oh, I'm in the wrong brain.
Yeah, and when we put
That one.
when we put this out on YouTube, we'll link to the previous stream where where Thomas talks about how to make a conversation tree. So look in the description
Yeah.
below.
That's the next one I want to do is a conversation tree.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Well,
the Speechcraft,
speech
yeah.
craft system, not a conversation tree. That's your next thing.
Yeah.
Your next thing is conversation trees. My next thing is multi-brains. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait for the multi-brain tutorial. That'll be sweet. So this one's gonna be. You'll probably be like, "What is going on?" If you don't remember that tutorial, and even then, I think I didn't get to explain all of this. But here is what's going on in that Speechcraft UI that's going on, that mini game where you change the reputation you have with different characters. And so let me just show you real quick.
Oh right.
So diplomat. So I'm gonna be able to do that. So if you remember last time, right, we had this reputation system, and it's like basically how much they like me or not like me. So this is like my debug. I have a debug control here where I can actually change it as on a whim as much as I want. So they really like me, and I can go in here now, and because of that, her prompts are gonna change based on that reputation. Or if she really doesn't like me, it's gonna change. So like, I don't want my player to be able to automatically control like that. I want them to actually have to play this mini game to persuade them. And so the way it works, right? You have the wheel, and she has different reactions to different things, and the wheel rotates and has different weights associated with that. So like, for instance, on here, you know, she likes that one. She really likes that one. So we want to use big triangles for that. And on these, we don't want to use big triangles because it will, she won't like it. And the way it works is this is totally ripped off from Elder Scrolls Oblivion in the UI, how they have their mini game. But one would be like a joke, one's like flattering, one's like, you know, bribing or whatever. And you choose different ones, and depending on that character, they like you if you flatter them, or they get mad if you flatter them. So it just depends. So that's the inspiration there. So like as you play it, the wheel rotates around, and then you can't use it, closes off, so you only get to do it 4 times. And then what I have in here is there's a one rotate that you can use to move the board. So for instance, like on here, I'll use that one. But like here, right, I don't want to use this big one on SAT, and I don't want to use a small one here. So I can free rotate that, and I'm going to be able to spin it once without having to actually cost the play. And then I can go up and down, and I should actually have a net gain and disposition there. So that's what we're doing. So what I want to add to that situation is, like, I only have one rotate right now, but I could actually make it where maybe the amount of like rotates is dependent upon my level, and that's what we're going to go for. And so jumping in here, oh, not her, him. I'm gonna interact, like, I could add Speechcraft prompt to my trainer too, right? So having the Speechcraft skill is actually important to keep in my player brain, because that's something that carries with me. Okay, So we're going to go here, and what we're going to do is find the rotate. So you'll see here right away that rotate available. So right now I'm only controlling rotate by a Boolean, so it's basically on or off, and that only would account for 1. So when that's the case, we actually need to change it. And the way we're going to do that is by actually creating a new number variable, which is going to be number of rotates. And we're going to actually set that to my level. But only if I'm a diplomat. Can't gotta always remember that. Now it's interesting, right? Because a diplomat would only see this, but you know, if you change that later in game, where a couple players, you know, maybe there's like 3 different classes that end up using a speechcraft system. If that's the case, then you need to. I wonder why it does that.
What are you trying to do?
So if I go global, and then I try to put, there we go.
Oh, you were into objects. I do that all the time instead of going to like variables.
Oh, I
and
was
object.
going in there.
Yeah, I do it all the time because I'm like object variable, go to objects. Oh right, duh, it's a variable, so I go to variables.
Valuable.
Yeah.
I do. Oh man, you see, it's not. It's always they're right. It's the computer's right. I'm wrong every time. Okay, diplomat. Value Boolean diplomat. Okay. Otherwise, we're gonna make sure that's 1. So number of rotates equals 1. Sweet. So we're gonna go down here. So here's all the different wheel positions, which updates as I either rotate or play the board. Here's all the fun UI. You can see that with all the quarter circles and the emotes happening. We're gonna go all the way down to where the rotate logic is, but I'm kind of going a little bit. I can go slower too if people want to look at it, but just go back to the first tutorial. That's the best way. So rotate available. Here is like the prompt. We're actually gonna go here and add a new. We're gonna add a new number here displayed. So we're gonna go plus. And this is actually a case, right, where I had that prompt and I didn't add a space at the end, so I'm going to actually do a space. And I just know that's a space because I used it earlier, but it's just blank. So, and I did a space or 2. And then we're going to go another one. We're going to go find a text variable, and we're going to say available, which has a space at the end. And we're gonna then we're gonna display that number variable that we had, which is number of rotates. There you go. Sweet. And then we're also gonna make sure, so the way I have the rotate work at the reset of the board, so when you get them all, it has rotate, let's see here, rotate available. That's the first thing I gotta do. So when X is pressed, we're going to also have to decrement the number of rotates. And we're going to make sure that you can't. There's some double like variable stuff happening. I could actually, with the Boolean that I have now, the rotate available, I could probably turn it off now that I have a number variable. But it's what I was using previously, and I won't do that on stream. But I'll probably clean it up before the next one. So number of rotates is greater than 0. I'm going to be able to actually do that. And then we're going to make sure, let's see here, the only thing I need, so I'll make sure that I'll copy this logic real quick. Just to be safe. At the very beginning, I set, let's see here, yep. So this is every time you come into the brain, or into the Speechcraft, And what I want to do is on the rotate, like on the reset too, I need to reset the amount of number of rotates that I have. So I'm gonna steal that same line that I put up there. I'm gonna go put it on my reset. Okay. Whoa.
We got 1 minute left. Can you do it in a minute?
Well, we're not going to be able to do the point stuff for sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Dang,
Also-
that was the fastest hour I've ever. Oh my gosh.
Also, before we upload,
I feel like I just been
before we
talking
upload,
the
I
whole
gotta get rid of the DLC stuff so anyone can remix this.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Except for I realize we can't get rid of the. You will have to have the 2D icons pack.
Yeah,
In order
that's-
to remix
that's-
this.
yeah.
That's a requirement. Just to have all those primitive icons for the game. The game could not work.
Oh,
without
and
those
his
primitive
face is the necromancer. I gotta change.
Yeah,
all that.
his face is the
Okay.
necromancer
All
and
right,
hair.
I'll take out as much DLC as I can for you guys.
icons. Well, there's only 3 things.
Okay.
It'll be a second.
Those are probably like 10 things that I just don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's that. I should pop a level. And when I go here into the speech wheel, I'm gonna have 2 rotates. See, it worked actually. What? Okay, and let's do 1. Oh no! It ran it more than I only hit A once. So it's just not decrementing correctly. I probably don't have it under a started variable. Okay, so let me go into the other one and show a recap. I get really ambitious with my hours of what I want to put in there.
Well, a skill tree is a complex. So the fact that you were able to get the basics of a skill tree done in an hour in Project.
Yeah, I mean, I got a
pretty-
class choice in like that part. But
Yeah,
yeah,
the
we'll
I
have
mean-
to do. So maybe that's a whole other stream by itself. Is the
Like implementing a skill tree and anything
yeah.
else would take like a week. So
Yeah.
it's nice you were able to condense the basics down to an hour. But yeah, there sure is a lot more work that needs to be done to like fully flesh it out. This like, but you cover the basics, right? You cover the basics of like how it works.
Exactly.
Oh no! I just realized.
Hmm.
You're also using the emotes pack.
Oh yeah, and that one, on what though?
The icon,
Oh.
the emote icons appearing above them.
Oh, that's right. That's in expressions.
Yeah.
And that one's pretty needed too because it has like the different variable like. So that one might not leave either.
All right, I'll let you keep those two only because
Thanks.
they're small.
Thanks, man. I
packs.
appreciate it.
But like, yeah, get rid of Steph's wand and the other two.
Huh.
And those are now pretty nice packs. They're like small packs and also have a lot of nice stuff in them.
Yeah, let me do starter 2 on that. That should have fixed that issue. Okay, so let me go on here, and we're gonna take a quick back run through then of what we had going on in the other one. And the only other thing I have to do real quick is hook I created one new object, which I am not turning on and off, so I gotta make sure I do that real quick. Example is turning, this is up here. And we want to make sure that's true. Stream, and when it's not, it's going to be off. Okay. And let me make sure I switched that right at the beginning. I did. Test. Okay. So back into what we started with here. So same thing that we built. Diplomat. Train. So the one thing that I didn't get to, which is kind of the skill tree part of it, I should say. So it's going to prompt when you level up to do where to allocate points. And one thing I didn't set up in this little test area yet was like different things that would get affected by this. So, and the plan was to do, you'd have to like have a point in charisma to see speechcraft even to get there. And then at that point, you would have to, and then it would be another one to get like the amount of rotates. And you could actually just do like how many points you have in each one is how many rotates you get, up to 4, right? Or you could do So the other thing that like Oblivion does really well is like it makes the mini game a race against time, because like every 2 seconds it decrements down, so you can slow that time down by having a higher skill. There's also like a bribe feature you can do, so if you have a stockpile of like 100 coins, that would, and you can increase their disposition by paying them off, right? There's that way. You can also set it up so like typically characters that you can't get to 100 on every single character disposition immediately. You have to have a good, there's kind of a max disposition you can reach with that person that's based on your skill level. So as you increase, you can actually get a higher and higher disposition. You won't be able to get to 100 right away. So there's a lot of different things that you can use the point system for. But as far as really this part, it's just a prompt of another. So I went back to that class logic cube and I added this other display, other selection screen, and all it does is increase based on your selection, increases a number variable by that amount, and then other things will call that number variable, and behaviors will change based off that.
Cool.
So there's the run through. We'll have to hit more in whatever stream I get to do next.
While you're talking through the wrap up of, like, I don't know, what are some other things people should be aware of while you're talking about?
Are you gonna start knocking out DLC?
Yeah.
Is that what you're doing? Okay.
Yep. We'll do the Willy face.
His hair too.
Yeah. The Willy face with medium shag.
Yeah. So and let me know, guys, what kind of direction you want me to go with this. I just think like the text and conversation stuff is really cool and be really deep, and like I'd love to see somebody do something like this, and then they go and do VO on top of it, and you have like this back and forth with characters, where you really like start having relationships with people. I feel like that's one thing I haven't seen like get fleshed out too much, like in games that I've seen yet, where like there's these characters that you like come back to, and you can like win favors or not against them, and there's kind of good or bad meter happening, which in this case, right, is the disposition. But so let me know kind of where you would like to see this go. Like I definitely would like to flesh out, make a little bit fancier like skill tree, and I can do that next time. Fire poker.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Someone suggested that in chat. I thought it was a pretty good suggestion.
That is good.
What are the other things?
No, none of the objects should at all be anything that's not default.
We got Wheelie with the slick back.
Yeah, Wheelie with the slick back. Did you get the other guy too?
Yeah.
Because I have doubles of everybody.
Yep. All right. Cool. So we're gonna go ahead and upload this now. People can find it just by searching within Project Spark. You will need the 2D gameplay icons pack, and you will need the expressions pack. But if you are making a conversation tree, you probably do want the expressions pack anyways, because it has really nice expressions. And,
the emotes are great.
And really, with the new primitives we have in the gameplay icons pack, no, everyone should really think about getting the gameplay icons pack. It's the credit amount is very low. On that. So, what are you gonna call it?
Ensville found out my secret. I have a hidden level 50 sword in there. No, I'm just kidding. Here, I'll grab it.
Cool.
So we'll call this. We're gonna switch it. Yes, we will. Oh, no, I want to actually rename it.
Good feedback for the next time. Halloran has requested we speak slower, so people where English is not their native language, they understand.
I will speak slower. Sorry, it's hard when I'm trying to get. I can't even get through what I want to talk through on the stream. Sorry. I will lower the scope and talk slower, so that should help everybody. I mean to do that on every stream actually. I can when I get going. I talk pretty fast. Okay, so this is gonna be called. Let's do to show the update. We'll call it like Speechcraft and class stream.
Speechcraft and class stream. All right.
That makes sense, right? Okay,
Yep.
We'll go with that.
It's being uploaded now. Everyone's watching this.
Yep, save and share.
Oh, right. You already have that up. You already
Yeah,
have that
that's
uploaded.
fine.
So yeah. So everyone who's watching, go ahead, get this. Take a look at that brain. Use it for all of your creations. This is the start of how to make a skill tree as well as a fun conversation minigame.
Yep. And we'll keep iterating on it. So if you want to like follow along kind of with, future tutorials or something like that, that would be something we could do too, which would be
Awesome.
fun. Alrighty, I think that about covers it.
All right. Cool. We will catch you guys on Thursday. Yeah,
Yep,
Thursday,
that
3
is.
p.m. Pacific
Yeah.
time.
Sounds good.
All right. Bye, guys.
Thanks.
Create your game as you play? Any Spark can do it. Spark, activate the portals.